Hi, I'm Patrick Fulop. This is Effective Martial Arts. In this lesson, the unified theory of fighting. 5 basic principles of effectiveness. All right, so this is arguably our most important lesson to date. If you're gonna watch only one of our tutorials, I recommend it to be this one, because it will provide you with a conceptual framework, a basic understanding of the principles that guide or that are behind all of the techniques that exist in martial arts. Okay, so quick overview first. You got 5 basic principles that guide all the techniques. First one is the principle of control. Control being the ultimate goal of fighting, or the ultimate strategy. Principle number 2 is the principle of access. Access being the prerequisite for control. Principle number 3 is the principle of stability, or the proper use of posture, structure, and base. Principle number 4 is the principle of efficiency, or the importance of conservation of energy. And principle number 5, the principle of tactics, or the appropriate use of offense and defense. All right, so let's go into more detail. So, the principle of control, the ultimate goal of fighting. If you think about it, and these principles, by the way, apply to one-on-one fighting, one against many, or many against many as well, otherwise known as warfare to the highest degree. Now, control is what we're trying to achieve, is the reason most often that we fight. We want to control a person's actions, their behavior, their thoughts, in some instances their resources. That's the reason most behind warfare. We want to control the population's resources, the land, right? So control is our ultimate objective, and there's different ways in which we can do that. So first off, we can apply control on an opponent mentally, and that's the reason for intimidation. That's the reason if you watch professional fights, if you ever wondered why professional fighters do trash talking, it's because they want to implant an image in their opponent's mind, aside from selling tickets to the fight as well, but they also want to implant an image in the opponent's mind of defeat and control their thoughts even before the fight begins. It's also the reason why in a fight, it starts with a stare down. The way you look at your opponent, the confidence that you exude with your body language is a way to control their thoughts right from the beginning. On a higher degree, we're talking about governments, warfare, propaganda is a way to control a population mentally. So that's a mental control. On the physical side, there's different ways to control an opponent. If you're talking about one-on-one fighting, you can do it with striking. So if we're talking about striking, every time you hit your opponent, you're creating damage, you're creating hesitation, you're creating fear, so you're controlling their mindset. Ultimately, if you can hit hard enough and you produce a knockout, well, you're controlling their consciousness. If they're knocked out, you can control their life, ultimately, if you want to take it to that level. Same thing is true on the ground. So if we're on the ground over here, it always starts with partial control. I want to start by controlling part of a limb. That's the importance of grip fighting. She's trying to do the same. She's trying to control my limbs as well and affect my base, stability, and control, and then have more and more control. If I start having a little bit of control, I can get a little bit more control an entire limb, control the hips, eventually control the whole body, pin her to the ground. Now I'm controlling her whole body. She can't move. Eventually, if I execute a submission, I can try to control her breathing, eventually make her pass out, and that's another way to control your opponent using grappling techniques. So striking, grappling is the same idea. You're always striving for progressively increasing levels of control. That's the ultimate goal of fighting. Next basic principle is the principle of access, which is the prerequisite for control. So in other words, we always want to be facing our opponent. The way human beings are made, our eyes are in front of us, our hands are made to handle objects that are in front of us, our legs as well. We have control of everything that's in front of us. We don't have eyes in the back of our head, so anytime you're facing the other direction, you have no access to what's going on here. I have full access. It's a dangerous situation to be in for that person. I can do anything to her and she can't see what's going on. Okay, go ahead and choke her, whatever. So when we're fighting, here we have 100% versus 100% access. We're both facing each other, and if we're within range, we can both hurt each other. We can both trade punches. We can both knock each other out. Anytime you create an angle and I start going to the side over here, she's still facing that way and I'm facing her over here. Now I have 100% access, but her access diminished about 20%. So she has less access to me. I still have full access to her. I can create more damage on her in this moment than she can create on me. And if I manage to get all the way behind her, now I have full access. I can take her down. I can choke her different ways. I can do a lot of stuff that she can't do much unless she resets her access and starts facing me again. Okay, so when we're striking, that's the importance of getting in, creating your damage, and before they can create their own, you get out. So you deny them their access. Creating angles, going to the side, attacking, and before they adjust, then you get out, you get another angle. Okay, so that's for striking. For the same thing is true on the ground as well. So anytime that you are on the ground and you're facing your opponent, you can create damage. I can do a stomp kick, I can block her attacks, I can do different things from here. But the moment she starts going to my side, I'm in a much more dangerous situation here. She can apply pressure, she can attack me, she can start controlling my hand or my head, she can do a lot of things to me. So the first thing I want to do before anything is I want to retreat and come back facing her. Okay, and there's different techniques to do that. We're going to see that a little bit later. If it gets a little bit further and I'm on my back, same principle applies. She starts pushing my legs this way. Now, where am I facing? I'm facing this direction. No good for me. I want to be facing her. So I want to extract my hips and go back to face her, and from there we can continue. If we take it to the worst case scenario, if she takes my back, so here, now she's all the way behind me. This is no good for me. I have no access to her. Except from rare exceptions, I can't do pretty much anything. So before anything, I want to escape this position. I want to reestablish my access, so I want to face her. So all the back control escapes that we saw, all using this principle. Let's say I do the arm switch, I break her grip, I get the head on the other side, I start facing her over here. Okay, I start looking at her directly. Same thing is true for the slide out escape. Okay, if I go over here and I want to get my back to the mat, and start facing her over here. Now, progressively reestablish my access until we're both facing each other, and then a million things can happen from there. So the idea is, when you're on the ground or when you're standing, you want to be facing your opponent, and ideally you want to get around to their back to minimize their access to you and maintain your full access to them. And that's a prerequisite for control. Next basic principle is the principle of stability, or the proper use of posture, structure, and base. So first aspect, again, anatomically, us humans are strong when our spine is in alignment. Anytime your head starts tilting to the side or twisting with the rest of your body, your hips start twisting in the opposite direction as your body, you diminish tremendously your strength. So, for example, if I'm going in, I have the leg, I'm going in for a single leg takedown. If she can manage to turn my head away, I get a lot weaker. She can escape with a limp leg. My grip is a lot weaker. It's a lot harder for me to do anything. Same thing if I'm in the clinch. We saw that in the clinch escape video. I have a grip. If she can turn my chin to the side, here my grip becomes a lot weaker. I can't force. My neck muscles aren't that strong. I lose a lot of strength. So anytime you can affect your opponent's posture, you gain an advantage. And you always want to maintain your own posture or spinal alignment. Same thing is true on the ground. If she goes for a guard pass, let's say she does a leg drag, and she starts turning my hips this way. And with another part of her body, she turns my face and my head this way. Now I'm completely twisted. My legs are this way, my face is this way. I'm not strong at all. She can pass my guard very easily. Just gonna go ahead and pass. Here, because I'm already twisted, and then she can do a cross face over here. Again, I'm looking the other way, I lose a lot of strength. The next two aspects are the aspects of structure and base. So it's essentially what part of your body, how strong is your support mechanism with the ground, and what is your base relative to your center of mass. So if we start in striking with the fighting stance, You want to have your knees bent, so that gives me good strength in the legs. I can go down and go up. My legs are strong. I use all the big muscles in my legs. And I want to have a nice wide base, which is wider, obviously, than my center of gravity. My center of gravity is about in the middle over here. I have a nice wide base. This way, if I get pushed, I can resist against it. And if I need to move, I can do so really quickly as well. If I take it to both extremes, you'll see the difference. If I have a very, very, very narrow base over here, well, here it's very easy. Somebody pushes me, I'm going to fall right away. If my base is much too wide, then I can't move. It's going to be long before I can regroup and be able to move again. If my structure is not structurally sound, let's say I lock out my knees, it's going to be very easy for her to do a stomp kick or side kick and hurt my knee because it's weak in this position. If my knee is bent and strong, she can kick it and it's going to withstand the impact. So you want a solid structure and an appropriate base. And that's essentially what wrestling is. So if we're in a type of over-under body control clinch, that's what we're doing. She's trying to affect my base, she's controlling my legs, reducing my base. I'm trying to adjust. I can do the same thing to her. I'm going to try to get her center of mass over her base to eventually take her down to the ground. And there are many techniques to do so, but that's essentially what wrestling is all about, attacking your opponent's stability while maintaining your own. It's the same thing on the ground. Now my stability, my base is my knees, and I want to be nice and low, so my center of mass is low next to my base. If I do the opposite and my base is narrow, center of mass is high, it's easier for her to make me lose balance. And I need to recompose with my hands, which creates openings. So that's the game of on the ground. I want to have a nice stable base. And here in this case, I'm going to be using my hands as well to post. So let's say she does a sweep. She tries to go to the side and push me here. I'm going to need to get that arm out and post with it. That might create another opening. She might exploit that with another attack. So I need to recompose. And that's essentially the game. I want to have using my feet, my hands, so that I'm always stable, have a nice wide base, and I can deal with the strength or the energy that she's giving me. And the same thing is true from the bottom. So she naturally has a nice wide base because she's on her back. So it's a stable position to be in. But now she needs to use her frames in order to deny me the control that I want on her. So she's going to use the barriers. We're going to talk more about this later, but essentially you got the feet, first barrier. She's going to have her feet in front. So if I put pressure, she can push away with her strong legs. If I get a bit closer, she got her knees in. So here she can create distance like that. I still can't strike her over here. She's got her knees as a second barrier. If I get past the knees, she's going to use her hands here, and now she can use her hands to recompose her other barriers, feet and knees. She can use her hips as well. If I ever get past the knees, now she can use her hips in. So there we go. The hips are in. It's still protected, so I can't get to her body. And if ever I get past the hips, I get over here, well, she at least wants to use her elbows. It's too late for the hands, but she uses her elbows, and then with the elbows, she can recompose her other barriers. So that's structural integrity from the bottom, using the 5 barriers, which are the feet, the knees, the hands extended, the hips, and then the elbows. Principle number 4 is the principle of efficiency, or the importance of conserving energy. So there's 2 aspects to that. The first is during the fight, and the other one is preparation for the fight. Now, during the fight, most important thing is to use the least amount of energy to accomplish your objective. Meaning, you want to be as relaxed as possible, so the least amount of muscle contraction, and you want to breathe as much as possible and remain calm. If you've noticed, any athlete, professional fighter, or athlete in any other sport, their event always looks easy because they're always using the minimal amount of muscle contraction to execute their movements because they've practiced them so much. So it's very efficient in terms of movements. And that's more and more important the more skilled your opponent is that you're dealing with. So when you're in the fight or you're executing your techniques, you want to be as relaxed as possible. So if you're striking, you want to keep a nice loose shoulder, breathe, and you throw your strikes out and you bring them back, and it doesn't cost you a lot of energy. If you're contracting your muscles, one, it won't be as strong, you won't be hitting as strong, and also you're going to tire yourself out much, much faster. If we're talking about the ground, this is a little bit counterintuitive, but it's both important when you're on top and when you're in bottom to be as relaxed as possible. So, example, if I'm on top side control over here, and I'm stiff as a log, okay? She can actually bench press me. here because I'm providing her with the structural stability that she needs to push me away. Think if she's under an actual tree trunk, a log, she can push it away because it's solid. But same situation over here, she's holding me up. If I just relax and kind of melt on top of her, it's a lot harder for her to create the distance that she needs. Think about the opposite of a tree trunk being a big old bag of sand. So you kind of mold yourself on your opponent. So that's what you want to do from the top. You want to be as relaxed as possible, and that's going to help you with your control. The same thing is true from the bottom. Let's say I already have my control, and she's stiff. She's forcing against me. She's just resisting as hard as she can. Forcing, more hard and harder. There you go. She's going to tire herself out, and it's not going to do much for her. But if she's very calm and explosive in her escape, and all of a sudden, boom, she escapes. Now, it didn't cost her much energy, but she accomplished her goal much better. Just a quick burst, and she's out of it. Okay, so top and bottom, be as relaxed as possible, use the least amount of energy as possible. Now, the other aspect of efficiency has to do with your preparation for the fight. The more you are prepared, the stronger you are, the more your techniques are drilled and practiced and known unconsciously, the least amount of resources it will cost you to execute them in that real situation. So think about it. If you're stronger, you've trained your muscles, you're really strong, you're really endurant, your cardio is on top of it, you're flexible, you're agile, well, your every punch, every movement is costing you less of a percentage of your actual strength and energy potential than it would if you were untrained. If you're very out of shape, you just move a little bit, you're going to be out of breath, you're going to be tired because you're not prepared for that situation. So preparing will get you more efficiency during the event. The other aspect to that is technical preparation. So knowledge of and ability to execute techniques. So the more prepared you are in that aspect, the more you know the different techniques to execute in every single situation, in striking, in wrestling, and in ground, the more you've practiced these, you've drilled them in your mind, you've drilled them physically, you have muscle memory, and you have the experience of practicing it with a partner, the least amount of conscious energy it will cost you and the least amount of time it will cost you to execute it in that real situation. So this is the concept of the 4 steps of learning, getting to unconscious competence. Meaning when you've practiced something so much that you don't need to think about it. It's second nature. It just comes out. You see the opportunity, you see the opening, boom, the technique comes out right away. And there's no other way to get there than to practice, practice, practice. Okay, so that's the concept of efficiency. During the fight, you want to conserve as much energy as possible. And in preparation, you want to increase your potential in terms of physical abilities and technical knowledge and abilities. And the last principle is the principle of tactics, or the appropriate use of offense and defense. Now, this one is a little bit more advanced, it's a little bit more conceptual, but it's going to make more and more sense the more you increase your martial arts knowledge and abilities. So, for every fighting situation, you always have 2 options, and you need to be aware of these options at all times. First option is to avoid. Okay? You do not absolutely need to engage in a fight when the opportunity presents itself. And that should always be your first option because it's very costly to fight in terms of bodily harm that it could do you or the opponent, and in terms of use of resources as well. Same thing is true with warfare. If we take it to the next level, it takes a lot of resources to conduct warfare. Okay, so if we can avoid, in case of self-defense, we talk about verbal de-escalation. Right? Be able to talk an opponent out of a fight. If you can avoid it, that's great. If you can run away as well, that's another way to avoid. Sometimes it's the wise thing to do, okay, if you can. Now, the other option, other than avoid, is to engage. And there are situations where you do need to engage. If somebody is threatening your family's life or safety, well, you do need to step up and protect them. And same thing is true if your own life is on the line. You do need to engage. If you are engaging in a fight, you have only 2 options. The one is attack, and the other one is defend. And you're going to be doing both at different times in the interaction, and knowing when to do each is applying correct tactics. Okay, so sometimes you need to attack first, attack preemptively even. Self-defense situations, especially if there's an imminent threat, it's sometimes good to gain the upper hand by attacking first. And sometimes you need to defend first. To defend, you can block, you can deviate, or you can evade momentarily, and in that case, your goal would be to counter after your defense. You're going to counterattack to gain the advantage. Now, there's another advantage to that. When you are adopting a defensive strategy or tactic, you can evaluate your opponent, you can read them better, and you can apply a more effective attack afterwards. Okay, we're going to get more into that later on, but essentially just know that for any fight you can avoid or you can engage, and when you're engaging, you can attack and you can defend, and you need to use both. Now, the concept that's really important to understand, especially if you're just starting out in your martial arts training, experts do this unconsciously, but it's the concept of tactical retreat. So momentarily using a defense or retreat when you're in an interaction in order to regain the upper hand. A lot of beginners don't do this. So if you engage in a fight, sometimes you just stand there and trade punches. If it goes to the ground, we're just going to go ahead and grapple because that's where the interaction is leading. But experts always go in and go out. They always use tactical retreat. In warfare, it's the same thing. Sometimes it's time to pull back your resources, your armies, and regroup and attack again with a different strategy. So if it's striking, I might get in, create my attack, but then if she deviates and she starts attacking her own, I need to get out of there before she does. Okay? Same thing if it's an angle. So using tactical retreat and re-entering on my own terms is very important. Same thing is true on the ground. If she's on the ground and let's say I start passing the guard and let's say she starts getting a grip on me. She starts holding my leg down. Now she's got a good grip. It might be a good time for me to fight that grip and retreat momentarily and regroup and attack again with another. And she does it again, I do it again, and I try something else. So momentarily retreating, doing tactical retreat is very important. Now, before we wrap up tactics, I just want to talk about a couple more advanced concepts that is good to plant now in your mind and that will germinate as you progress in your martial arts journey. So this one is a little bit more advanced, is the concept of simultaneous offense and defense. Okay, so anytime you are attacking, that's true on the feet, when you are striking, you want to protect yourself. On the ground, same thing. If I'm advancing my position, I need to protect myself at the same time. So for example, if I am passing the guard over here and I start passing over here and she gets a grip on my elbow, let's say, here. Well, I need to address that. That's no good. I left an opening for her. Okay, so there we go. Now, so as I'm advancing my position, I need to protect myself, so not give her a grip on my limbs as I'm attacking. So try to deny her grips and minimize the openings as I'm advancing my position. Same thing is true in striking. So let's say if I strike over here, I have a jab. Now the opening is here. She can kick me at the same time if she times it correctly. So for every offensive move, there's always an opening that you create. So you need to be conscious of that and use proper timing to minimize your own openings and think about simultaneous offense and defense. The next higher level tactic or principle is the concept of deception. So this again is a little bit more advanced, but essentially the better you get and the better your opponent that you're facing are, you want to use deception. Meaning, you don't want them to know what you're doing. Okay? Ideally, you want to be able to defend against their attacks, but you want to be able to attack where they are not defending. So think about it as an army. They go around the line. They think the army is coming here, but they actually have another army going in the back, and that's a way to apply deception. Same thing is true in single-handed combat, one-on-one. When you are striking, you can use feints, so moving the legs, but it's actually a punch that comes. You can change your attack on its way in. So it's different ways of applying deception, and there's many different ways to do so. We're going to expand on that in future videos, but you want to confuse, misdirect your opponent in order to land your attacks. We're going to expand on that later. Conversely, you also need to apply adaptation. So, especially if you're dealing with a skilled opponent, he's going to pose problems to you, and you need to adapt quicker than he can deceive you. Okay, so adaptation is another key principle for defense as well as for offense. When you're doing an offensive move and they react to it, you need to adapt and go to the next thing. So, not being too stuck on your methods. Your methods need to be flexible depending on the situation, and you need to adapt to your opponent's strengths, opponent's weaknesses, opponent's reactions in order to get to your goal. The last, more advanced principle that we apply in terms of tactics is the principle of decisiveness. And this is good to know right from the beginning, that when you gain the upper hand in a fight, especially if it's a self-defense situation and your life or your safety is on the line, you must enter decisively and take it to a successful end. Okay? You gain the upper hand, you need to end the fight until you have full control on the situation. That could be being out of harm's way, running away where the person can't get you, or getting to a really good control position, getting to a knockout, getting to a choke on the person so they pass out. But once you have that upper hand, and you see this all the time in professional fights as well, at the moment the opponent gets wobbly, okay, the moment the person lands a successful strike, they go all in, because now they have the upper hand and they go in decisively to end the fight conclusively, and that's how you stay safe. Okay, so advanced high-level tactics, simultaneous offense and defense, deception, adaptation, and decisiveness. All right, so that's it, guys. Quick recap, unified theory of fighting. This is my understanding so far, and I think these principles, far as I know, apply to every single technique that's out there in terms of fighting and martial arts. So, number one, control being the ultimate goal of fighting, and that's your strategy. You want to apply control on your opponent. You can do it with striking, you can do it with wrestling and grappling, and choke holds or ground and pound. There's many different ways, but you want to apply control. Number two, the principle of access, which is a prerequisite for control. So to make it super simple, you always want to be facing your opponent. You never want to show your back. And ideally, you want to get around your opponent to their back. So you minimize their access to you and you maintain full access to them. That's how you can create the most damage and have the most control. Number three, we have the principle of stability, or the proper use of posture, structure, and base. So spinal alignment, posture, your head needs to be in line with your body. You don't want your head to go off to the side. You want it to be straight, and you don't want it to be twisted either, or your hips twisted with the rest of your body. You lose a lot of strength in that case. Structure is your connecting mechanism with the ground. So you want it to be solid. If it's your hands on the ground, you're using your hands as well to base. You want your base to be nice and wide and mobile, but not too wide because you lose mobility. And number four is the principle of efficiency. So efficiency is the importance of conserving energy. And the two ways you do that is during the actual fight, using the least amount of muscle contraction, being as relaxed as possible physically, muscle relaxation, breathing as regularly as possible, having enough oxygen, and being as relaxed mentally as possible as well during that fight. The other aspect of efficiency is preparation. The stronger you are, the more physically fit you are, the least percentage of your resources you're actually using in the fight. And technical preparation as well. The more you know your techniques, the more you've practiced them, the least amount of time it will take you to execute them, the least hesitation there will be, so the more effective you will be in the application of that real situation. So during the fight, be efficient, and prepare for the fight will allow you to be more efficient as well. And principle number five, a little bit more advanced concept of tactics. So always know that you can always avoid a fight. In a lot of instances, that's the wisest decision to do. Or you can engage, and there's situations where you must engage as well. And when you do engage, you want to use proper attack and defense. To defend, you can block, you can deviate, or you can evade in order to counter. And you always must use simultaneous offense and defense. You want to use always tactical retreat. There's very important moments where you need to retreat. Don't be stuck with your course of action. Retreat, regroup, and re-attack. That's a very valuable concept to know. And more advanced concepts we talk about, so simultaneous offense and defense. Deception, so making the opponent think you're going to do something, but you're actually doing something else. Adaptation, where you adapt to what your opponent is giving you, to their strengths, to their weaknesses, and to their defenses and attacks. And eventually, decisiveness. When you do gain that upper hand, you do see that opening, going all in order to finish the fight and bring it to a successful end. So you remain safe, your loved ones remain safe, and you come out victorious, which is ultimately your goal in fighting. All right, so hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I had a lot of fun thinking about these concepts and developing this, and I know we're going to expand on these concepts a lot and base our instruction on these concepts. So if you know these concepts, all the techniques kind of make more sense. You can go a long way by learning techniques, but it's my opinion that you will progress a lot faster, a lot better, and you will be more able to improvise if you understand the principles behind it. Ultimately, you can create your own techniques if the principles are correct. So I'm especially interested if you guys are experienced martial artists in any martial art. What do you think about those principles? How do they relate to your techniques? Can you give us examples? Write down in the comments below if one of the principles you can think of examples where they apply, and share with other viewers. If they read the comments, I'm sure they'll find that interesting as well. And I'd like to know what's your experience relating to these principles. If you think I've forgotten anything, let me know as well. I'm always interested in perfecting our theories to make them more complete. So let us know if you have any other ideas that can complement this, or if you think one of those principles is completely wrong, tell us so as well. It's always good to have a discussion about it. So click like if you've enjoyed, if this video has helped you. Share the link with your family, friends, and fellow martial artists if you think it can be of value to them. And subscribe to our channel if you have not already. We've got lots of quality content coming your way, and we're going to expand on these concepts a lot with the different techniques that we're going to teach in every range of fighting. So it was a real pleasure preparing this for you guys. Hope you've enjoyed. And until next time, I'm Patrick Fulop. This is Effective Martial Arts. Remember, practice well, safety first, and use these techniques only for self-defense.